Thanks for joining Real Talk. This is Natoya Perkins. So if you're joining for the first time, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscription button and share it with your friend. Today we have a guest with us, a special guest. He's from the Micah Teachers College in Jamaica. Is he a teacher? Is he an insurance advisor? Has he been writing books? You have to stay tuned. So, Mr. Matt, you were raised in the church in Jamaica,
Yes,
Manchester, a family man, based on what I know. You graduated from the Micah Teachers College, and
Yes, ma'am.
you were also featured in the Gleaner newspaper in Jamaica. So
Yes,
excited,
ma'am.
a multiple
That is-
talented man. So, the first question I want to ask though is, a man desiring all these things from a tender age, you felt that you wanted a change, you want to be a change maker. Tell us about your upbringing.
Well, when I said I grew up in the church, I mean my dad is now Elder Matthews, was Deacon Matthews at the time.
Oh, wow.
Mom is Deaconess Matthews. It was it was Sunday school on Sunday morning. MYF, going from the missionary church, so missionary youth on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening church. Monday was prayer meeting. Wednesday was Bible study.
Sleeping on the benches.
Exactly. That was literally how I grew up for my early part of life. Coming up in Mandeville, in a little small town called Mike Town is really where I'm from.
Okay.
And I guess my mom, she kind of instilled, she was a disciplinarian. She kind of instilled in us from an early age a good work ethic, a good, if you want it, you need to go out there and get it, you know? And it was early on that we realized, you know, or there's a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. I moved next door to him after moving from where I was born. And we identified early that, you know, neither of our fathers have legacies to leave for us, you know? So whatever we were going to have in this life, we're going to have to achieve it for ourselves. We're going to go out there and work for it and get it. And once you kind of get that squared away in your head, then you pretty much know that now I just need to go out there and do it. And that's pretty much what I did. Make the best use of opportunities, whether half or full opportunities that I was given. I just tried to make the best of it.
As I listen to you, I notice a lot of men in even Jamaica and around the world not thinking about change and wanting to make something different.
It has to be based on what you want. It has to be what, you know what I mean? I always say I had a good father.
Right.
I had the best dad ever, you know, when he wasn't around, because back in the day, you know, people used to go on farm work and all these things. That was something my dad did. But when he wasn't around, I was still very cognizant of his influence in my life. I was still very cognizant of what he expected of me, because when he was around, he instilled that in me. I take that for granted, because I have very great friends, people I consider my brothers, who never had that. Right. So I really have no excuses when I had a solid role model, a person that worked hard, tried to achieve what they had, and then they made sure I had stuff they didn't have. One primary being education. They made sure I learned how to think. They made sure I went to school. They made sure I did well at school. Well, I had an obligation to do well at school based on what I see them had to do to get me there and keep me there. And I just tried to make the best of the opportunities I had.
We're here with Mr. Matthews sharing his story and journey. I want you to continue watching. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Real Talk. This is Natoya Perkins. So it's all starting from home. So sometimes, it's like some person don't have that person to push them into their destiny or make them want to change or do things better. So you have mentioned all these things, and your parents have, pushed you to make a difference in your life. So you have studied at Micro Teachers College. So after your
Yes.
upbringing and you push yourself now to a college, not many men around going to college, they just finish high school and move on to a little job or something. So tell us about
Right.
that experience.
And before I even tell you about college, I did move on to a little job for a year.
Okay.
Because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Well, the trick with having parents that never did a lot of schooling themselves is that even though they're great parents, they have your best interests at heart, some of the times they don't know where to guide. They don't necessarily know how to help you to get to that next level because they've never done it. You know what I mean? And my parents go to a whole lot of schooling. So even though they were well-intentioned, they didn't really know how to guide me when it came to a certain stage of my life. So I was out for a while, and I'll tell you one thing real quick. The first job I ever had, I got fired the first day.
Wow. Tell me about that one.
It was a ceramic tile company. I got the job as a sales representative, and the lady told me to go and do what I see the girls do. So I went there and I did just that. They sat there, chatted, laughed. That's what I did. At the end of the day, she said to me, she was giving me my pay for the day and told me I do not need to come back because she didn't like what she saw. Understand, because I did exactly what you asked me to do. And she's like, well, you didn't get up and greet the customers. You didn't get up and do this. You didn't get up and do that. I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that that's what you wanted me to do. You told me you wanted me to do what I saw the other people doing, and that's exactly what I did. Now, if you're telling me now that what you want me to do is get up and go meet the customers when they come in, I will probably do that tomorrow when I come to work. Because what you're not going to do is fire me today because I didn't do something you never told me to do in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
And she said, okay, I won't be here today. My mom and dad will be here. I won't be here tomorrow. My mom and dad will be here tomorrow. Show them what you should have showed me today. I said, no problem. Now that I know what you want, no problem. I got a promotion at that job 2 weeks from that time because I understood now what I was required to do, and I absolutely did it. I hit it straight out of the ballpark because I wasn't there to waste time. I knew the opportunities that I had available to me at the time. This was an opportunity I was given, and I was absolutely not going to waste it. By the time Michael came along, which was the question you asked me, by the time Michael came along, they didn't even want me to leave. They offered to pay me what teachers were paid at the time to stay.
Wow, maybe I would have stayed.
and it was a hard battle for me because I saw where I could continue to develop there and do a lot more. But I felt the need. I liked learning. I liked education. I would say I was an average student in high school, but I went to college and I hit college out of the ballpark. My brain woke up somewhere between high school and college. I went to college and I killed it, essentially. And which is why the last year I was a president of the college. But Michael, I was quiet the first year, went in, country boy from Mandeville. I gravitated toward the other countrymen from Mandeville because I played the Costa Cup for Manchester High. We just had our 20-year reunion last year.
Wow.
And I went back there being the president. I was the one giving the speeches and all that.
So tell me now, you have, when you went to Micro Teachers College, president of the council, and your reunion, and you do all of these things. What did you do after?
I taught for a solid semester.
Only a semester.
And that was during teaching practice in my third year. Teaching practice at my third year, I taught at St. Hugh's High School in Kingston. I taught a first, second, third, and fourth form for that semester. I taught them history and social studies were my subjects. And that's the only teaching I've ever done.
Oh my. So a whole 3 years of Teachers College and only did a semester.
And that was still while in school. I'm staying here.
So tell me about that, because you have only 6 months or 3 months under your belt of teaching, just through teaching practice. Now, what made you move to Florida?
I actually didn't even move to Florida. I visited Jersey. I was working at Six Flags Great Adventure on what was then the Joyce program. Uh,
Okay.
and I legitimately had no intentions of staying in the United States. I was the president of Michael Teachers College. I had every
Yeah.
intention of coming back, teaching, moving up through the Ministry of Education, moving through. I wanted to teach at Manchester High School because there were things I saw there that I knew I could impact. That was what I saw for my life at that time. And I came back after Joyce program, and I was ready to get that going. So I stayed in Jamaica for a while, and then I went to Canada, and then I went back to New York, and I worked there for a little bit, met my wife, my first wife, and the
What were
rest.
you doing in New York when you were working for a
In
living?
New York, what did I do? In New York, actually, I worked with the same company I worked with on the Joyce program. It was a photography company. So when I went back, they came and found me somehow and said, yeah, we want you to run a location for us in Times Square,
Wow.
Manhattan. So I actually worked as a photographer in Times Square, New York for a few years. I did.
Wow. Wow.
Um, yeah, so it's, like I said, for me, it has always been, if an opportunity presents itself to you, you weigh it. You
Yes,
weigh the cons of the opportunity. And if it is a good opportunity to take, you take it.
that's right. I agree with
And
you
that's pretty much what
totally.
I did. Exactly.
Where did Florida come in this play?
Oh, Florida came in, lived and worked in New York for several years, got married in New York. My daughter was born in New York. And then I took a vacation to Florida. That was it.
Mm.
Because like I said, no intentions to live in the US, not knowing a whole lot about the US. I
Right.
left New York, it was cold. It was like October or something. It was cold. I came to Florida and it was sunshine and rainbows. And I was like, what?
Wow.
You
This
can
is
stay in the same country and have this weather, this
yes.
time of, and within 8-10 months, I had relocated to Florida. It was more the way
Wow.
I used to. And, Florida, New York has a lot of grays. It's like watching a black and white movie once the winter time hits. You
Mm.
know, all of grays and whites and shades. And I'm like, no. I came to Florida. There were green trees, yellow paint on
What we
things.
used to in Jamaica.
It was colorful. So
Goodness.
I was sold the first day. I came here for vacation, and before the anniversary of that vacation, I had relocated to Florida and was living in Orlando, and that's where I am now.
Wow, this is interesting. Interesting indeed. A young black man of many talents taking every opportunity as they come and has done exceptionally well. I want you to invite your boyfriends, husbands, and male friends to watch part two. Martin will be sharing his book of poems for men to share with their lady. You don't want to miss it. See you next time on Real Talk.